My name is Gary St. Fleur. This is Safe Scranton. I'm here to talk about the recent case that we brought against the Scranton government last week when we filed a response regarding the tripling of the local service tax. Now, local service taxes were taxes that all employees would have to make who work in the Scranton work in Scranton, the city of Scranton. That's 32,000 people. They were roughly paying $104, and the amount was going to go up to $156. We believe at Safe Scranton that such taxes or fees or regulatory barriers make for poor decision making because it makes it difficult for the people to work in Scranton or live in Scranton. We believe that taxes should be lessened or lowered across the board. Our thought process is that if people have more disposable income because they're not paying as much in taxes, they can spend more. If they spend more, there's more economic activity, which can drive the economics of a local region. Now, in order for this to transpire, the city of Scranton will have to get a handle on its debts. Now, if debts are so high, they're mounting, that in order to do so, they would have to make some cuts. But currently, instead of doing so, they're borrowing and selling assets. We have advocated since inception for bankruptcy. Our thought process is that if they file bankruptcy, they can get a chance to have a clean slate, the wiping of debt off the books, cutting down on the bonds, and making the proper cuts in government level if need be. This would provide the city to be on stronger footing going forward. The alternative will just allow this situation to continue to fester, more blighted houses, more businesses going out of business, and the Scranton people trying to move out the city as soon as possible, because that is what a lot of Scrantonians look forward to. This is not the way things have to be. We can have opportunities, we can have commerce, jobs, growth, but the city needs to get its fiscal house in order. And I say the bankruptcy is the only way to do so. Now, there will be disclosure of Scranton's full debt very soon, where we can discuss why I say that there's no other alternative besides bankruptcy. But back to the case. Now, the case states that we cite a state ordinance where it clearly advises or clearly establishes the amount of taxes a local municipality can obtain from Act 511 taxes or local taxes. Same thing. Now, local taxes or Act 511 taxes are your local services tax, business privilege taxes, mercantile taxes, entertainment taxes, and all these other taxes that you can collect. The cap is based on the amount of the value of the property in a municipality multiplied by 12 mils. Scranton's cap is roughly about 27 million. The current budget that was just passed has an overage of $10 million. Now, once we prevail in court with this case, they would in effect have to bring down the taxes to its proper rate, which would in effect bring all local taxes down. You're welcome. Now, some people would argue that this would leave the government without money, but that's the very point. The government doesn't have money. It tries to do these measures where it raises taxes on the people, sell public assets in order to hide the fact that it has no money. Now, since it has no money, it's only a matter of time before their interest payments, which they pay on the debts that they borrowed or the bonds that they've issued, absorbs all the cash that's on hand where they can't pay their obligations, such as the pension obligations. Now, in order to save the pensions, the government would have to make cuts. The government cannot make cuts itself because it has contractual obligations to pay the interest on the bonds that it borrowed. The only way for the city of Scranton to fundamentally get out of the situation is to file bankruptcy. Then a judge would have the legal authority to have them get off the bond obligations that they've signed, which would lower the interest rates, which would lower the amount of cash that they have to pay in interest rates, which would free up liquidity, allowing the city to do things like lower taxes and expand the the tax base by having more people and businesses move to Scranton. That is the way Scranton can be saved. And this is what I advise. So I will be keeping you up to date on the case and news on the revelations that we have. We plan to do a lot more community activism by championing the cause of the Scranton people. We have notices and memos and emails and calls coming in telling us things about the blighted housing situation or the government not renewing licenses for electrician because of speaking out against the government. We will not stand for these things, and we will speak out against them. Thank you for listening. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you take care of yourself. I'm glad to be of your service and to help the Scranton people. Thank you, goodbye, and God bless.